listening to Between Two Bridges, a business-to-business podcast. With your hosts, Anthony R. Destiny, Joe Ferrani, and Jerry Kenna. Interviewing entrepreneurs, business operators, and investors. This episode of Between Two Bridges is sponsored by Paymont Payroll. Payday is the most important day to your most important people, and payday is made easy at www.payyourpeople.com.
We are here.
Again.
30 times in a row.
30 weeks
30 episodes.
in a row.
Consecutive weeks.
Dale, how's it going?
Killing it. Wrecked it in turn 4 last week.
Just rattling his cage.
I'd
Rattling some
avoid
cages.
Daytona if I were you. I'd like to visit Florida, but
Yeah.
stay out of turn 3 and Sterling Marlin.
Too soon. Too soon.
Okay.
Man, yeah, it's been
You're getting looks. How's your week as a
I guess
mustacher?
that's how I would wrap up the week. I would say that there's been some things in my life that I've talked to people,
Yep.
and I'm like, why are they fucking looking at me like that? And these are people I've known for a while. Like,
Yeah.
So I was running equipment in my yard on Sunday, and my neighbor, I like stopped to say hi. He was like, dude, you were doing that earlier. And I was like, I can't believe Joe finally fucking hired someone to do his yard work.
No, that's you.
Yep, just me.
Just you.
Yeah, good for a change.
What the kids think?
They're fine with it. They kind
The
of
wife?
she hates it.
You're sleeping on the couch.
No. We got 2 little kids, man. We sleep where we sleep. There's no assigned spaces in our house right now.
Sleep where you fall.
Yeah, I feel like 22-year-old at a frat house. You just sleep wherever you fell asleep that night. I wake up sometimes in my son's room, daughter's room, couch, my room. You know.
Sleep with your wife every night, Jerry?
I sleep with my CPAP machine every night.
Okay.
Sometimes I wake up and she's not in bed because she's in one of the kids' rooms because they got up and it was easier just to go lay in their bed.
All right.
No, there's... I sleep where that machine is.
Okay.
Because that's the way I can sleep.
All right.
So, no, and that's the way everybody else in my house can sleep, is if I have that thing stuck to my face. If I'm sleeping anywhere else, I usually get woken up and go back to the room.
We mentioned bears in Oakmont. No wonders they came.
Yeah.
Jerry's CPAP machine was broken.
Yeah, they were looking for me.
All right.
It was broken a couple weeks ago. They're probably still looking for me.
Oh, yeah. I'm sleep divorced. We sleep in separate rooms.
Oh, really?
Yeah. She snores and I need a certain temperature, and
Yeah.
it's playoff hockey season, so I fall asleep watching hockey, and
You know, that's not all that
see.
uncommon nowadays.
It's not.
I don't know. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I'm a lot happier. She's a lot happier. We get more sleep. But yeah.
It's funny.
How's the factory coming, Joe?
Oh,
we're counting days, huh? There's no longer weeks or months. We got
I mean, when this comes out, we'll have 3 weeks to the deadline.
yeah.
The problem is, I think deadlines are made to be broken at this point. So,
Well, what happens with your current lease? Are they going to extend month to month or what?
I spoke with the higher powers to be, and he said we don't have a tenant right now. So if you need to stay, just holler. So I might be hollering.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it 2 more weeks to get through the red tape stuff, and if we get through that, the problem is like some of the things I'm looking at, like they're quoting high dollars and long time. Like the one of the quotes said 6 to 8 weeks. I was like, that puts me to the middle of July.
Yeah, that's not feasible. Just for
Yeah.
And that's before you can even start. That's just the professionals.
Oh wait, you can't start. Whoops.
I thought when you sign the loan, you get to start immediately.
Well, I've been under the impression that you are allowed to do exploratory demolition.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I also grew up with the thing is if you broke it, fix it.
Yeah.
So as I've been exploring and demolating, I've been fixing on my way out, you know? So just
Demolating?
demolition, demoing. They're all the same. You got the drift.
I know you were
demolishing
knocking down
is
something.
the full word there. Demolishing.
Demolishing.
You know, that's the funny thing was when I looked at the building, there was nothing that needed to be demolished.
Yeah.
It was like perfect. And one of the things I looked at when I opened the electric panel there was it passed an inspection in 2018. I was like, we're golden here. Like, this building is up to code, you know?
Yeah.
Well, apparently they don't care about what they said 5 years ago.
Codes.
7
Yeah,
years.
now you got to redo everything.
Mm.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, it's a... You know, I think it's one of those things that you couldn't go to school and learn, though.
No, you got to learn it in
You
the
got-
field.
They
Big
don't,
checks, lots of zeros.
Yeah.
they
sleepless
cover that
nights.
in Nikki's science class.
I don't remember any college courses about
No.
that.
Yeah, well, it's life, you know, and I'm glad I'm learning it at 40 and not 60 because I don't know how many sleepless nights you can take at 60.
Not
Yeah.
so many, huh?
Yeah, so I'm in a good spot. I'm young enough to weather the storm. I find little tasks every day that like before would seem like I could do that in 10 minutes. Well, like today, like I had a hydraulic cement where the conduit went into the building. So I was like, I'll just go over and do that. And one less thing. So, but we'll get there. Told you we're going to shoot live from there when we're.
When's the first shirt being washed?
Well, I think we said June 29th was the
Is
day.
that, yeah. Okay.
Just don't know where the water's going to go from the washing machine.
Down a kiddie pool
Like
in the
just
corner.
straight into the street. Clean up Cheswick one load at a time. So,
Anyways.
I don't have anything bad against Cheswick, actually. I'm everybody I've talked to there.
They got rid of Pizza Hut, right?
Yeah.
That's
Maybe Pizza Hut got rid of
I
that.
bet you can tell what building it was though.
it's still standing.
Yeah. They painted it tan to
Should
try
have
to
moved in
hide
there.
it.
Should have moved in there. Could
Yeah.
be up and running.
Yeah, as long as I was cooking pizzas.
Yeah, no change of use.
Yeah, but I'll
So are you
figure it out.
spending money? What's a daily budget look like? Is there money going out? Are we sitting still?
Well,
What
that's
do
the
you
other
think?
thing I started learning is you just got to throw the budget out the window too.
Yeah.
Deadlines and budgets were both made to be broken. Like, you get to a point where it's like, I need to buy this, or I got to buy these fittings, or I got to place an order with the supply company, and it's like, don't even tell me. You have my credit card on file, just hit it, and
Yep.
I'll see you later. So, yeah, I mean, we're probably spending more than we need to, but I still am under the impression of like, let's do it right.
Yep.
You know, it'll be up and running for the next 30 years without a problem when I'm done with it.
Use personal credit, business credit, both,
So,
whatever you need.
I started out thinking that I had put enough aside to do this project.
Yeah.
And then when it got out of control, I was like, well, maybe we can nip off some of the bigger purchases like equipment loans. And I looked into that kind of funding. And when we were going down that road, they offered a line of credit.
Yeah.
So that's like a nice cushion because
Business line of credit.
a business line of credit. So I'm sure it's personally insured.
It's personal guarantee. There's a personal guarantee on it, but it does not show up on your personal credit report at all. It is only on the business.
Yeah. So the truthful side of like
Could
where
the
I am.
business go bankrupt and Joe not go bankrupt? How's that
No,
work?
not because there's a personal guarantee. If the business were to go
Belly up.
belly up, he is responsible for the balance.
Okay. So you can't just blow a business and walk away scot-free?
No, I mean,
No,
Antonio Brown can.
no,
Like people like that.
Apparently,
Mm-mm. No. They'll still come get you.
Deion Sanders' son.
It's
went bankrupt.
unsecured, so they can't
Oh.
really come take assets, but they can put a judgment against you and then come after you personally for the balance.
We're not going to get to that point. We're just, I think with people like higher profile people that do it, they're banking on themselves, like their next move, making them millions and millions of dollars.
What is AB's next move?
Yeah.
Because most athletes.
CTE ESPN.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
they are the best Twitter
he could be
follow.
I mean, maybe he'll start coming back to Pittsburgh.
Most athletes go broke, and he is the latest chapter in that.
Mm-hmm.
But he's coming out with an album this year, bro.
Well,
Yeah.
he also has 7 kids, probably 7 mansions,
Man, 7 kids.
4 Bugattis.
You can't bankrupt out of kids either. That's
No.
child sports, dude.
Can't.
No.
It comes to get
It
you.
stays in arrears, huh?
Yeah, they'll
Child
lock you up
support
for
and
child
student
support.
loans, buddy.
No,
Yeah.
not student loans.
Yeah, student loans. You can't bankrupt out of student loans.
No, but you can get them forgiven.
I think my dad still owes me $50,000. Still waiting on that check. Keep waiting a long time.
Yeah, wouldn't that be some shit? You just got
Yeah.
to check at your house, $50,000.
Check with the state on that, I guess.
Huh.
You guys ever get those robocalls about send you $1 million today for your
Ugh.
business?
Painful.
3-4 times a day.
And they
Susie
come,
from Michigan.
but they come in from local numbers sometimes.
Yep.
It did
Like
trick you.
Bridgeville, and when you own a business and it's legit, you're answering every phone call because you never know what the next phone call might bring.
Yep.
Mm.
And they're calling and you answer and like, hi. And I'm
Yeah.
like, Doro Cleaners. They're like, hi. And then like the first part of it's that robocall. This is Jesse and you've been pre-qualified for $350,000.
Yeah. Just yesterday, Megan Brady.
The
Area
best is
code
when they leave you a
205.
voicemail and they're like, just following up with you about the loan you applied for. And I'm like, didn't
Whoa.
apply for a loan.
Do I actually need to call?
And I don't know if you've gotten the text where they put the terms in it. It's like, we'll give you 170 payable back in 24 months. It's like, dude, if I could just pay back 170.
In 24 months. Like,
Well, that would be a good term for them. Some of them are
Yeah.
like 6 months, $180,000. You're like, if I can pay back 180 in 6 months, the fuck do I need your money for?
yeah.
So
Yeah, no kidding. And who knows what the interest rate's going to be? They're going to lend you 180. You're going to pay back 500 in 6 months.
and a lot of those probably work with credit card processors.
Yeah.
So they have the connection. They're like, well, here's your first step. You
Yeah.
got to sign up with our credit card processing.
Yep.
Yeah.
So now they have access to your money.
Mm.
Well, a lot of those, I mean, I've seen a lot of businesses that had to file bankruptcy because they did those merchant service loans. Credit card processors will do that a lot where they'll say, well, you need cash. You need cash fast. That's no problem. We'll take care of you.
Right.
We'll do it based on your credit cards. And they'll take a multiple of what your daily processing is. And they'll lend it to you. I mean, you have it in your account in 24 hours. I mean, it's fast. But then they take like 10 or 20% of your credit card processing until it's paid off. And the rates end up being, I mean, I've seen rates that once you actually do the math are 60 to 80%.
And it's
I
up
mean-
front. So it's not like you get it in your bank and then you have to send them a check. They take it that day, every
It's
day.
Every day. I
So,
mean, it's,
now
yeah.
you couldn't make payroll before. You took $12,000 out.
Yeah. I worked with a restaurant one time that
200.
was paying back like $100,000 worth of merchant service loans, and they were taking 12% of their daily processing. But if anybody knows numbers on a restaurant, they're lucky to make a 10% profit margin. So taking 12% off the top, you're basically leaving them 2% in the hole every single day.
How many,
right
of,
off the
how
top?
many of those people are the places you go into that look kind of seedy and they're like, sorry, our credit card processor's down today. Do you
Yeah.
have cash?
Yeah. How many machines are down? Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah,
So-
for sure. I mean,
Yeah,
it's,
so
Or you have to
business
spend
owners out there,
$10.
they get your number from your EIN filing,
Yeah.
probably,
Yeah.
I would assume.
well, that's the other little gimmick. You know, sometimes I'll help people set up new companies. We deal with a lot of startups here.
Mhm.
And whenever you set up a new LLC or new corporation in Pennsylvania, in the Pittsburgh area, it's published in the Pittsburgh Business Times.
Right.
So your name, the business name, the business address is published as new businesses in the area. So there are companies out there that get those listings every day, and then they send you out paperwork saying that you can get labor law posters or
that's a big
certified copies of your
Yeah.
of your LLC paperwork. And it's all man, they make them look so legit.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen some that I'm like, man, this looks like it came from Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
So people think that, oh, I must have to spend this $280. And I've had clients that have come to me and be like, oh, I bought this because I had to pay that $280 fee. And I'm like, what $280 fee? They send me, I'm like, oh my God, they got you.
My parents did that like 20 years ago, first in business.
Yeah.
Like, and then they were like, well, it has to be somewhere in here. So they had to like
Yeah.
put it somewhere. It's a big laminated poster.
The labor law posters. The best is when it's like a one-man construction company and he's like, I had to order these labor law posters. I'm like, who exactly is checking for those labor law posters? You have no employees. It's just you, man.
I think
It's like Their whole lives,
fireplace.
husband and wife have been arguing about the decor, and he's like,
Well, I got
"Well,
this
fucking
label
move
poster
over because I'm putting this poster up
in the
because
kitchen.
law says so."
This has to go in the dining room, dear.
Take down,
Yeah,
take down this kindergarten photo real quick.
it's crazy that when I worked on my house, people would joke like, "Oh, you're in Fox Chapel." So like when you would ask for like a contractor to come give you a quote,
Oh yeah,
there was like the Fox Chapel tax. Like
Yep.
you probably see it. There's the
the
Oakmont
Oakmont
tax.
Yep.
Yeah.
But there is a big tax on business.
Oh my God.
And like
Yeah.
No doubt about it. There are certain things that you do throughout your life that just because that's what you're doing, it's more expensive. Like when you're getting married, if you're just going and hiring a photographer for like a photo shoot, like taking pictures of your kids or whatever, it's like a real estate listing. It's $150. No problem. Oh, it's a wedding. It's $1,000. It's $2,000. Wait, what?
Oh, you want video? That's $4,000.
Exactly.
Right.
It's like everything is like $1,000 or more because it's this. And with a business, it's
Every day.
oh my God. I mean, even down to cable internet, cable TV. If you're at home, you can get, I mean, Comcast is expensive as hell regardless, but you can get at home, you could have like whatever their triple thing is with phone and internet and TV and the highest speed internet and all the stuff on your TV, and you're spending $250, $280.
do that with a business.
Do it a business, even just an office. So like a restaurant's a whole different ballgame because in a restaurant they come in and they're like, "Oh, you want TV? I have to count your seats," and they rape you.
Licenses.
Yeah. But in an office, I used to, when I first opened up an office, I was like, well, I need to have TV for my waiting area, and I need this, and I need that, and I need 3 phone lines, 2 phone lines and a fax, and I need fast internet. And I was getting the bill, it was like $500 and some dollars, and I'm like, what the hell am I doing here? And then you look at the TV, and it's like the most basic ass cable with like no extra channels at all, like not even the basic stuff that you get at home. You get like nothing on a business TV package. I'm like, this is ridiculous. I'm spending $500 a month for shit. So Comcast is gone. The TVs are all basically Apple TVs with just internet and streaming because it's just too much money.
Right. And it's everything. I mean, it is from if you need to get a delivery van towed.
Yeah.
Like I had an issue with my delivery van. It was a $22 part. And I swear I paid $400 to have it installed. And I'm not discrediting mechanics, but they knew. The guy's broke down. He's miles from my shop.
Yep.
And I need that van.
So here's something that came to me. I have a friend of mine, a client that has a construction company. He's got a couple trucks, and one of them's a dump truck, and it broke down. It's under warranty, transmission issues, had to have it towed to the dealership. 2 weeks later, it's still sitting there. They haven't touched it. Now, that's a dump truck that this dude uses every single day in order to make a living.
Right. And
now he's limited.
Right.
He's down a truck. And this dealership is not prioritizing it. And I was thinking about this, and I'm thinking, I'm sure they're busy. And I'm not a mechanic. I've never run a mechanic shop or a car dealership, but it seems to me that if I was in that position, it seems to me that it would make sense that you would have a certain number of bays, especially at like a Chevy dealer where you're going to have commercial customers, that I have a certain number of bays and a certain number of techs that all they do is get commercial vehicles in and out of here. Because these people, first of all, just like anything else,
that's a good point.
Business owners are going to pay. Because that truck
Especially
is not
dump
just
trucks.
that guy's daily ride.
You can't rent it.
You can't rent a dump truck. Okay. So he can't replace it. He can't work without it. That truck's not just his like to and from work. That truck makes that guy money.
Right.
So he wants that shit done and he's willing to pay for it to be done. Now, this is a warranty job, but then on top of that, I mean, you're talking a couple year old 1-ton dump truck with an Allison transmission. And like, I would imagine that even a warranty job on that truck is going to pay well to that dealer. Like, get it in and out and prioritize that so that guy can keep working. it's just good customer service. And I would think that then if I'm a contractor, I'm going to take all my stuff there because they prioritize commercial jobs. And I don't know.
Yeah, I had a recall on our delivery van right after we bought it, and it was like a drivetrain issue. We took it there for one thing, and they were like, well, we can't let it leave because this is a safety issue, and it's a recall with the drivetrain pin and whatnot. And I'm like, oh, it's leaving. Like, you don't have to let it leave. I'm going to come tonight with a spare key, and I need it. Like, we've already like, you're playing catch up then. You know what I mean? You're taking... It's
my livelihood, man. I got to work.
Yeah, especially like... so that's one of the things I'm in the process. I keep looking to try to buy a used van. Like, just something nice.
An extra.
Yeah, just so we don't have these problems. Like, just go meet the driver, throw the shit in the back, and I'll sit on the side of the road for 45 minutes, 2 hours, you know?
Yeah. Right.
So...
Yeah, I don't know. I just felt like that was an opportunity for... I don't know. Commercial work.
Car dealership in here.
Yeah.
Talk to them.
A lot of guys, when they have, I mean, your buddy's probably a smaller outfit, but when they have a larger outfit, they just do it themselves. They have somebody in-house usually.
Yeah, he's not. Plus, this is a warranty job. I mean, this truck's only like a year or two old. I mean, it's still under warranty, and it's got a blown tranny. Blown transmission. So
yeah, I know another guy that has a delivery van, backup van. It's been sitting 6 months at an Amco transmission place because can't get the parts, don't have the time, you know.
Yeah. Did I say the name of the dealer?
You did not.
No.
Good. I'm not going to blast them.
You did not technically say them.
Did I?
You kind of tiptoed around. It's okay.
They
Joe, that's the number one school in the state for honor roll.
Honor roll?
The number one school in the entire state.
Fox Chapel, baby.
Fox Chapel.
Yeah. Kudos.
Number 2.
Riverview dropped quite a bit.
Plum?
Upper St. Clair.
Yeah, eat it, Upper St. Clair. Everything's better on this side of the tunnel.
I just got the top 5.
So I don't know what I looked at. There was ratings in one of the magazines.
It was Business Journal.
Test ratings because those PSSAs came out. And I looked at, my kids are at Riverview, so I looked at what those were. Yeah. And there were 3 columns. They showed 2022, 2023, and 2024. Mm. And they went from 20th place to 31st place to 40th place. They're dropping. Taxes are going up.
Yeah, taxes went up, 15%?
5.3. Yeah, 5.3%.
I've always been skeptical of these lists.
Yeah, those PSSAs are bullshit anyway. Yeah, I know they are.
I actually think that they should do away with the PSSAs. I mean, they send letters home. Like we had COGAT testing for first grade.
I think there should be some way of testing and some way of checking on these schools, but I think those PSSAs are nonsense because it makes the teachers teach to the test.
Yeah.
The teachers get all freaking panicked about the test.
Remember how shitty those were?
They're horrible. And then it's the kids, those kids don't want to spend 3-4 days just doing circles. Goddamn tests.
And I'm like, I checked D too many
in fucking
times.
fourth grade.
CDAB, CDABC.
Yeah, and they mean nothing. Like they don't mean anything to the actual
they do that for taxes,
kid.
Or
they do. The state requires it to check on the school's performance.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
And the schools use it to check on the teachers' performances. And
so we just had a standardized test. I guess they call it the COGAT for my daughter in first grade. It wasn't through the whole school, mostly like first grade. But all year long, they kind of are very nice. But then when the COGATs come around, they're like, make sure your kid goes to bed at 8 p.m., gets a full meal. It's raise your kid right this week because we need them to make us look good.
Right, exactly. So, that's frustrating, man.
I'm sure the teachers don't appreciate it either because they feel more invested in the student one-on-one than rather teach okay, we'll let one slide behind because we got to keep the majority of the herd up ahead. So
you want to guess the largest
mustache in the rim?
Pittsburgh area private company?
Private company.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's not UPMC because they're not private, right?
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Giant Eagle?
You got it. $11.45 billion.
Wow.
Man.
$3 billion more than the next one.
Who's next?
Arconic.
Arconic, really? Giant Eagle's bigger than Arconic.
Giant Eagle,
Eagle's the biggest, baddest bird on the block.
Giant Eagle ruined more small businesses than the fucking major highways.
Yeah.
I mean, they like small gas stations couldn't compete.
No. Sheets does.
Pharmacies, well,
Sheets kicks their ass.
Yeah, they do. You know, here's what's funny: they 11.4 billion.
Yeah,
and they're in the fucking dry cleaning business.
Mm-hmm.
They are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do they outsource it, or they do it?
They outsource everything.
Could you get them?
It is the biggest. No, you don't want them. Like I've known, there's several people before the guy that's doing it now that have gone out of business because it's like a great deal for them. So there's a company out of Nevada, Dress for Success. That's the franchise name. That's the DFS you see inside Giant Eagle.
Mm-hmm.
They get a cut right off the top of everything. And then Giant Eagle gets a cut right off the top of everything. And the guy that's doing the work gets the smallest cut and is forced to pay for the supplies, the hangers, the damaged goods, the staff. And, you know, so if you have 700 shirts that come in on a Monday for Giant Eagle, and you're not making the same money you're making on your $200 shirts from your customers, what are you going to do? You're like, all right, guys, we're going to bang these 700 out like shit, get them out of here, and then we're going to turn it back and do quality work for these 200. You can't.
No.
Shit's all gone out the door. So, I don't know. I just wish they would get out of it. It would really stabilize the local dry cleaning industry for sure. But then again, I've always said I'm really happy with my numbers. So if you inject 200 shirts a day into my store, I'm going to be like, fuck this. Where's Giant Eagle? Get back in business. So like, sometimes the guy up the street's the best guy you got for your business.
Yeah. Yeah.
Inflation.
Inflation, taxes.
Fucking Genoa salami.
Oh, where do we want to go?
Do you think Trump's going to go?
I wanted to touch on this before we got on air, and I'll talk about it on air because I think it's fucking hilarious. I have a letter in my car to show you. It's from the IRS.
Oh boy.
So they
It's always good.
So there was a 941 filing.
Mm-hmm.
The due date was 2/22. No, 3/22. They're calling it 63 days late, right? But the paperwork was from a month prior than the due date. It's hilarious.
So they messed up.
Oh, they're backwards. It's so funny that like I'm looking at the due date and I'm looking at the date they sent the letter and I'm like they predated the letter for a month before the due date. So they're filed and they were electronically filed and then they're like 63 days late and they don't even tell you what you owe them in like penalty. It's the weirdest letter I've ever gotten.
Definitely from the IRS or just some bullshit?
Oh yeah. So
dude, they're so fucked up. And that's why we started doing everything electronically, so we have track record of that. We used to, back in the day, we used to mail all that stuff in. And then the problem with business taxes is there's no transparency with the IRS. You know, an individual can set up an account on the IRS website and then log in and see what was filed and see what was processed and stuff like that. But a business can't. Now they can request a transcript, but, you know, good luck getting a hold of somebody and getting all that done. And then good luck reading a fucking transcript because it's basically just a computerized printout of nonsense. But
I thought it was funny that they gave me a sliding scale of what my penalty should be, but they never gave me a dollar amount.
Do you get to pick?
Well, 0 to 1, 1
well,
to 2.
It was like 1 to 3 days late. 0.1% or something like that. It was like 5 to 10 days late.
Dude, there is zero chance that we filed a 941 63 days late. There is absolutely zero possibility.
Yeah,
of that.
and like I said, it was funny because the due date was, or it wasn't even late in their terms. I should have brought it in. We'll talk about it next episode. But it's like fucking hilarious. I'm like, these people. And they don't understand what they do, though. As a business owner, you don't ever want to get a letter from the IRS.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
You want to get that stupid little check they send out.
Yeah.
That you're overpaid.
Yeah. But you never want to get that letter because, like, you could open that letter sometimes and it could be big numbers.
Well, and then they make those letters scary. Like, we intend to levy. Levy.
Bring it.
Yeah.
Put me on a payment plan.
Yeah.
It's like medical bills. Give you $50 a month till I'm paid.
Yeah, exactly. Good luck. Get in line.
Yeah, that you can bankrupt out of.
You cannot pay this. That's right.
brief word from our sponsor.
This episode of Between Two Bridges is sponsored by Paymark Payroll. Are you tired of spending countless hours juggling payroll calculations, tax filings, and compliance regulations? Well, say goodbye to that chore and let Paymark Payroll take the burden off your shoulders. With our secure online portal, you can access your business information from any internet location, even your phone. Employees will love the ability to receive direct deposits, and they can access all their pay stubs, tax forms, and information through their own portal. Focus on growing your business while we take care of the rest. With top-notch customer support, we're always here to assist you with anything, at any time. Don't let payroll stress hold you back. Choose Paymark Payroll and experience the freedom to thrive. Contact us at payyourpeople.com for a personalized consultation and a demonstration of our powerful payroll solutions, and see how Paymark Payroll can better your workflow. That's payyourpeople.com. Join the growing list of satisfied businesses that have embraced the convenience and efficiency of Paymark. Payday made easy. Your business deserves nothing less than the best, and that's exactly what Paymark Payroll delivers. Now back to the show.
Are we going? I mean, obviously, we're filming this before it goes. I mean, that's pretty obvious to our guests, our viewers. So as of recording this, we are still waiting to hear the verdict.
What are they in right now?
They're deliberating on whether or not former President Trump is guilty of felony charges. But did you see any of the coverage today? What the judge said? What his instructions to the jury were?
No.
Dude, it's crazy. So, typically on a criminal case.
I do watch court TV, but no.
Do you?
I do watch like random court cases. I get into it.
So on a typical criminal case, if you have multiple charges, the jury is instructed to consider each charge separately.
Yeah.
That's why you usually hear if there's multiple charges that the jury will say on the count of blah, 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 not guilty. On the count of this, guilty. It's all separate, and they all have to be unanimous decisions on a criminal case. Apparently, today, the judge said, so there's 3 charges pending, and the jury does not have to be unanimous on determining whether he's guilty of any of the 3. They were instructed to just decide, is he guilty of any of them?
Okay.
If he is, he's guilty.
Of all.
So the jury can be split.
So they want a verdict. They don't want it to go to like mistrial.
Well, they basically want him. I mean, that seems to me like he's going to be guilty.
What's it do for his implications of running for president?
Well, here's the thing. Like, I feel like what the judge said, if what the media is saying is accurate, because it's a closed door, like nobody was able to actually see it, right? If what the media is saying is accurate, I think it is wildly unconstitutional and will be appealed. But that process takes
past the
years,
election.
Right?
Yeah, you could just tie it up, right?
Yeah, and November is the election. So if he's found guilty and sentenced to prison, he'll be in prison in November. Even if he's pending an appeal, the election's over for him, right?
Just like the backfiring plan of politics where they're like, we want prisoners to vote. Trump's in there with them. Like
all the prisoners are voting for him. Like, we like this guy.
Yeah, he's not a bad guy.
I don't know, man.
I don't know.
Times.
He came out of the courtroom all wound up. There's a video on he put on TikTok or something that he's like,
Truth
Mother
TV.
Teresa couldn't even beat these charges. This is ridiculous. And, he's all wound up. But
so if he,
I mean, he paid that stripper, right? Let's level set there. We're all on the same page there.
Yeah, I'm sure he did.
yeah, people with that kind of money pay people.
That's the gist of the case.
But here's the thing with the case. Okay, that's only one piece of it.
Okay.
So there's multiple pieces, and the felony is not on that.
What's that?
The felony charge is on falsifying documents with his real estate holdings, where he said it's just with his real estate holdings. And basically what happened was what they're accusing him of doing is saying, and I'm paraphrasing, but this is the gist of it. He had a building that he was that he bought and was renovating it, and he was going to refinance it.
Okay.
And he went to the bank and said, and I'm making up the numbers for simplicity.
Even Trump does the Burr method.
Yeah.
It was the Burr method. It was the Burr method. He went to the bank and said, I think the building's worth $10 million.
Okay.
So I want to take out an 80% loan on that building.
Yep.
The bank goes, okay.
Yep.
Then they sent an appraiser out.
Yep.
And it wasn't worth $10 million. So they gave him 80% of what the appraisal was, which was lower. Okay.
Right.
They gave him that.
Yep.
They're saying because he told the bank it was worth $10 million, he falsified his documents. Well, I got news for you, and I will comfortably say this on a podcast that will go out to the dozens of listeners that we have. Every real estate investor I know, including myself, does that every time we refinance a property, because you go to the bank and you say, I think it should be worth about this.
Yeah.
And then that's why they send an appraiser to see if you're full of shit.
Right.
Okay. And so it's not falsifying documents. It's giving a bank an idea of how much
I did it when I bought my house.
That's what everybody does.
Yeah. So if I go get a HELOC, which I'm planning to do, they're going to ask me what I think it's worth.
Yeah.
Is that how it goes?
And you're going to give them a ballpark, and they're going to send an appraiser to see how close you are. And you might be high, you might be low.
Okay.
But whatever it is, the bank's going to give you a percentage of what the appraiser says, not what you say, because you have no fucking idea. The appraiser, who also
I know what I pay every month.
Yeah.
The appraiser
who also has no fucking idea.
Yeah, he's going to come take some fucking pictures. And
Right. And he's going to say, well, this house down here sold for this. And they're
they're
going
just
to go,
going to do comps and fuckers.
But here's the best part of it. Okay.
Back to Trump.
They called that a felony
For inflating
this number.
Okay.
Now, the reason why they pushed to call that a felony, which is crazy that that's a felony, but the reason why is because if it was not a felony, if it was a misdemeanor, the statute of limitations was up in 2019. They were not going to be able to charge him with anything. So the only way to be able to charge him all these charges
Motherless
to make it a felony. And you had to have that, and you had to have other charges along with it, which is enter Stormy Daniels. And then there was something else they think they charged him with too.
Literally enter.
Yeah, enter.
Then they drag our quarterback in.
Yeah.
But that's what it is. It's all like,
all right. Yeah, that's kind of bullshit. Now that you feel
I'm not
man,
listen, I'm not a big Trumper. Okay.
You're a money guy.
I'm a money guy, and I'm honestly
a fair election guy.
I'm a fair election guy. I don't like either of them. I can't believe that these two parties
choices.
took these two dog shit candidates and were like, these are the best we got.
That's what I think all the time with the Republicans could have ran out
anybody.
We had some legit candidates, and we whatever. It is what it is.
Yeah.
But I think that the Democrats are probably also looking at themselves like, really?
Yeah, we could have ran anybody.
Yeah, what's up with this RFK guy? Like, we're not like he's a Kennedy, right? Like, we're not going to talk to him at all. We're just gonna stick with the guy that doesn't know where he's at.
In on the debates or something. They wouldn't let him.
RFK, no, they wouldn't let him in.
People say that like, Trump's going to be the downfall of this country, or people are going to go to
democracy here.
I think we're going to have to. Someone's going to have to hit the reset button. Like,
yeah, there's something up, man. I don't know. Both parties are so fucked.
They used to always say, your grandfather's rolling in the fucking grave. Well, our forefathers are like, fuck this.
This isn't what we wanted to do.
But we could honestly, there is a legitimate possibility that come November, neither Trump or Biden are on the ticket, because Biden could be dead because that dude is
or declared
gone. Like, his brain is shot. And then you've got Trump that could legitimately be serving prison time.
Kamala Harris is like...
Yeah. We're going to end up with Kamala Harris and Jesus Christ. I don't know if it could be much worse.
Yeah, it's almost like we need a reset.
Yeah, I don't know what we need
and that's
to do.
like one of the things that like makes me mad. Like whenever, like with the whole Trump thing, like I'm not campaigning for Trump. I'm campaigning for the change because like as a business owner, nobody cares about us. I feel like, like they're just like, shut up. They're like
You're
everybody
rich.
else. You're rich. You own your own business. What do you want? And they had the Speaker of the House at the table talking about the loan forgiveness and the lady, one of our journalists said, hey, what's up with this? Like, don't you feel like there's other people in the country that owe $35,000 that are struggling?
Yeah, I saw that.
And she was like, yeah, but these people took a bet on themselves.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how about every fucking business owner that wakes up
Yeah.
every morning?
I
Yeah.
want one of
You know,
those
guys that
checks
can't
again.
afford health insurance or life
Yeah.
insurance that are going to work that
I do.
install fences.
And that's what's cracked me up too, is that I saw that skit with the press secretary, and they're talking about, these are people with like $35,000 worth
Right.
of student loans. And I'm like, they're buried in $35,000 worth of student loans. Have you met a business owner?
Yeah, I think at 35,
Yeah.
I said if I can get to where I want to get to,
that number.
and the debt number's under $1 million,
Yeah.
I'm okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I got you beat, bud.
So, I
Yeah.
mean, because like at $1 million at 45, you 10 grand a month for 10 years,
Yeah.
you pay it off, right?
That's it. That's all you got to do.
Yeah.
It's easy. Debt management.
Just make sure you got real estate to back it. That's all I keep saying.
That's it.
There's real estate to back it. There's real estate to back it.
Is there?
Is there though?
Is there?
The Chinese just will buy your real estate to back it.
Yeah, it's a crazy time, man.
Yeah, I don't think that we ever started out to be so negative on this podcast. But
I don't think we're negative.
no, but the world around us is pretty fucking
It
negative.
is. It can be.
Like,
But,
who's gonna fucking row the boats, man?
I think you just row your own boat.
The Warriors,
Yeah. You
Yeah.
row your own
not the
boat.
gardeners.
Not the gardeners.
Help your neighbor.
That's it. I remember guys said, everybody wants to start out in like business or start a nonprofit, and they're like, we're gonna change the world, and it's like, well, just change your neighbor's life. Like,
Yeah.
and then if you can change your street, change the block. If you can change the block, change the town. And just
Yeah.
take it from there, because like
That's why I moved to the country.
you're like, I changed my street the day I moved in.
I agree with that, and I always tell people, because people get all wound up on national politics and this and that, and I always tell people, you know what? If you just focus on what's going on in your four walls, just worry about what's going on in your four walls, because you can make a lot of impact just worrying about that.
Right. It'll never get as bad as you think it's going to get.
Yeah, exactly. And how many times did we heard that? We heard that whenever Clinton was elected, it's the end of the world. And then George W. Bush, it's the end of the world. And then Obama, it's the end of the world. So it's the end of the free world as we know it.
It's just noise, man. I think
it's just noise, man.
I think the country's dying.
So I think interest rates is obviously
interest rates and
impacts us all.
inflation.
Do you think that's just noise? I think I read the other day the 30-year average rate was like 8% or something, and we're freaking out about 7%.
Yeah, I mean, it's all noise.
Yeah,
it is, because
just with how much
as bad as things are right now, and things aren't great, but things have been way worse.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it too is like Monday morning quarterback. The people that are bitching the most about the rates are the people that didn't get in on low rates.
Yeah,
And now they're at a point where they're like ready to buy a house and they got to pay 8%, but their neighbor's paying 2%. And it's like, well, what the fuck,
Yeah.
And I get that, but it's like you said, worry about your four walls.
I think you just get in. That's kind of what I've learned from you guys and people on here.
Yeah, I mean,
We sit down 20 years from now, you'd be like, man, I wish I would have got in then.
Yep. Well, they say that about the market too. If you look at, people say, oh, I'm going to wait for the market to come down before I start investing. But if you take and you look at what?
Good luck with that.
Yeah. If you look at like a 20 or 40 year span of the market, if you weren't in it for like 10 of the best days, your return is like a fraction.
Right.
yeah.
You just got to be in it, man. Like,
A lot of
just
people-
get in it.
A lot of people think that's like a get rich thing. Like, okay, well, I got 40,000 sitting there in my idle in my retirement. Like, I could invest it, and everybody's talking about when they win, but it's just like gambling. Nobody has a podcast talking about, man, I lost $48,000 this month in baseball bets because shit's just not right now.
So the Dow Jones in 1984, you want to guess, Joe, what it was? It's close to 40,000 at this point.
Yeah.
Do you want to guess 1984 when we were all born? What it was?
3,800.
1,104.
All right, so adjust that for inflation. You probably could add another 0 to that, right? So it's still 4 times.
So it's up 3,000% since we were born.
How many of our parents are retired?
0. Well, for me, yeah.
Yeah.
Me too. Yeah,
Mine are.
Your parents still are.
I've always used the like the Bitcoin thing. The day I bought the cleaners, if I would have,
What day did you buy the cleaners?
it was 7 years ago,
Okay.
July 1.
July 1st, 2017.
Yeah, if I'd have taken that money,
And bought Bitcoin.
$30K,
You
bought
would
Bitcoin that
have-
day. Why do you hear this number?
You said 2017.
Yeah.
The Bitcoin price was $2,800.
Let's do the math, Jer.
It's now $67,000.
All right, so 30,000 divided by 2,800. You could have had 10.7 Bitcoin, and what is it now?
$67,000.
You'd have $718,000.
I feel better.
You'd still be working.
Yeah.
It's
it'd
dropped
still
a lot.
Still be working.
I feel like it's dropped a lot.
That's the high.
Maybe I was doing it with Dogecoin.
Or
I felt like it
Safe
was
Moon,
millions.
whatever. March was the all-time high. 70,000.
What's up with GameStop?
Well, I just checked my AMC. I am still very much down. I should have
GameStop
skipped
price.
that, and I should have just put it into Nancy Pelosi stock. Is what I should have done, because she is fucking killer.
Nvidia.
Yeah, fuck. I missed the boat on Nvidia, bud.
Nvidia.
Yeah.
So where are we
Enough
at?
pie in the sky. Jerry, how do we get money if we want money? What are legit ways?
Work harder.
Work harder.
Yeah.
Go-
Build a
to the
relationship
bank.
with a bank.
Yeah, but then you got to pay that bank back. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
keep paying them.
Yeah, you got to pay them.
HELOCs, what do you think about
Yeah, I mean,
those?
if you have equity in your house, something like that, you can get a home equity line of credit. You know, obviously rates aren't spectacular right now, so you're going to pay.
Mm.
But, you know, I think that's a good step if you have the equity. If somebody, I mean, I have
think
clients.
that's better than these robocallers.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, these robocallers are, these
Start
are
with your
short
house.
term,
Yeah.
big interest rate, big fee. I wouldn't even entertain those calls.
Yeah, it's criminal.
It's not.
I actually
it's
said
not
that to a lady the other day. I said, what you're doing is criminal. I said, you're right out of college. You have
Yeah.
student debt to pay back. I get it. But like what you're doing is criminal.
Yeah.
Go get a real job.
Yeah.
It's the penny stock scam. It's a pyramid
It's
scam.
today's, what was that? Wolf of
Yeah.
Wall Street. It's today's Wolf of Wall Street.
Because you got a guy that's got backing. Maybe he has $5 million liquid,
Mm-hmm.
and he's got 28 people on a call center.
Dude, there's a good possibility that some of them have no money to lend whatsoever. They're just legitimately here to steal your information.
Closing fees that you never.
Yeah, you never
Okay.
see the funds.
There's a $700 filing fee.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We'll
Or
send
give me
you
your
money.
social security number, your date of birth, and then
your tax EIN and
gone.
Yeah.
peace.
Yeah. I mean, you never know.
And they
These
always
places.
use names that sound like Stratton Oakmont.
Yeah.
Like Goldstein.
Yeah.
Goldstein and Oak
Money
Lending.
worth.
Yeah.
Nancy Pelosi Funding LLC.
Yeah. I wouldn't do any of that.
Okay.
Yeah, that was one of the things this week I was like, you know what? It pisses me off enough that I got to stop doing what I'm doing to answer the phone.
Yeah.
Then they're wasting your time.
Yeah, put that in a reel and get it out there because I don't really
Okay.
see anybody talking about it. It's fucked up,
No, it's bad.
you know.
Yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with if you took PPP loans
Mhm.
or any of the SBA stuff.
They know
That's
you're
all
willing.
public information too.
You're willing to play ball, willing
Well-
to take a chance on yourself.
Yeah, and taking a bet on yourself. But that information is all public.
You can look
And
up PPP loans.
You can look up PPP loans. You can see how much they took, whether it was forgiven, how many employees they had. Pretty much everything that you put on that application is public information. So, and I've pulled that list, and I've considered using it as a marketing list.
The non-forgivens.
No, not the non-forgivens, but just to use it to market other businesses. Because if you think about it, like, you know, I have a payroll company. The PPP loan, the majority of those people have employees,
Right.
right?
Mm.
So that would be a good place to start with that. And then I have a credit card processing business. So like they're all businesses and most of them are probably accepting credit cards.
If you want me to start calling people, I will. I'll be like, this is Joe with Landmark Solutions. I have a rate that you cannot refuse.
I'm returning your call about the loan you applied for.
Yeah, you called to apply for credit card processing.
This is Dale.
This is Dale, and we can beat your current rate.
Plum
I
Creek.
haven't told you my current rate. I'm like, we can beat it.
We can beat it.
We can beat it.
I didn't say by how much.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was the scam, and that was actually like the loans are the scam now, but that was the scam not too long ago where everybody was cold calling and saying, "We can beat your rates. We can beat your rates."
But give me a statement. I always ask for a statement.
And
it's
then,
like, give me a rate.
Yeah,
What's your
exactly.
rate?
Yeah, I'm not going to give you the answers to the test.
Right.
Give me a rate. If you beat it, you can beat it. But that industry's changed a lot. I think people are tired of dealing with the robocalls and stuff like that. I think it's getting harder to go door to door. I own a processing company, so that sales scheme, that sales strategy is a lot harder now because it was so flooded with people doing the
employees
cold calling.
are trained.
Yeah, the people don't want to just get out. I don't want to deal with it. I'm not switching credit card processors. Get out.
I still get calls from people that are like, is Doug there? I'm going to use a fake name for the sake of it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, he hasn't owned the place in 7 years. Well, who's in charge of the electric bill?
Yeah.
I'm like, Jesus Christ. You know, I went through.
It's like.
I went through that with one of those electric consumer companies to save money on my electric bill.
Did it work?
Dude, I got my first electric bill. It was double.
Oh, yeah.
So I called and freaked out. And they were like, well, we can only refund you up to. I'm like, hey, give me a little bit back and take me off of this whole fucking thing. Because you have 60 days to repeat.
I got a call a couple weeks ago, right before we filmed the podcast, from this, just a cold call, asking me to rebuild my website. And telling me about, oh, we can fix your website. It doesn't do this. It doesn't do that. I'm like, oh, so I was in a mood. I started messing with the guy, and I'm like, well, what websites do you build? And he's like, well, you can look at our website. And I'm like, is that Pornhub? He's like, no, why would you say that?
So I have a friend that also owns a dry cleaners, and this is my favorite business owner story I think I've ever heard. He was like having a day, and a guy calls from Yelp. He's like, we'll bring in $300,000 a year extra to your business. He's like, this will be great. I think like AirPods just came out. So he's like, yeah, tell me more, and like legged this dude on. And he said, sir, can I stop you for a second? He was like, do you know how much work I have to do in shirts and pants to do $300,000 extra a year in sales? He goes, I have one question for you. Who the fuck is going to press it all? And hung up the fucking phone. That dude from Yelp was probably like scrolling through like what he was going to buy with his bonus check. Yeah. Shout out Billy Godchuk. Fucking hilarious.
That's hilarious.
Strung him on for hours.
That's great.
Good stuff.
So, hey, conference.
Yeah, I went on a conference. I went down to San Antonio for a few days. First time I've gone. I mean, I've gone to continuing education
What'd you
classes.
think of the city?
I didn't get.
Is it a shithole?
No, I didn't even go in. So listen,
I hear all the fat people in Texas go to San Antonio.
Oh, is that right?
All the what people?
The fat people?
The overweights.
Oh, okay. I was getting ready to be like, hey, edit that out.
I'll go on record. There's Ozempic.
This conference was at a Marriott Resort and Spa that was kind of like 25 minutes outside the city.
Okay.
And I didn't rent a car.
Did you fly into San?
I flew in. I Ubered to there, and the Uber was like, "Yeah."
How was the airport? Was it better than Pittsburgh?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah,
All right.
Yeah, it was alright. I mean, Pittsburgh kind of sucks.
Getting better.
It's getting better.
Should be next year?
I think a couple of years. Yeah. But even the Uber guy was like, "Yeah, listen, dude, you're not getting out of this conference. You're not getting out of this building. Like, they put you here because they want you to stay here. Like, it's 25, 30 minutes from anything else. There's restaurants here. There's all kinds of stuff here. Like, they have you here because it's a pain in the ass to leave." And I was like, oh, sweet. Because everybody was like, everybody was like, oh, you got to check out the Riverwalk. You got to check out this. And I was like, I looked, and it was a 40-minute, $50 Uber ride to the Riverwalk. I'm like, I'm not going to do that. Because I'd probably get there, I'd walk around for like 15 minutes and be like, well, okay, I'm going to head back.
That's the thing with conferences, though. Like, people always think, oh, it's awesome, you're going away. But If you do it right, if you conference right, you spend a lot of time talking to a lot of people.
And here's the thing, like there's two different kinds of people that were at this conference. There were employees of other companies that were there on vacation.
Yeah.
And then there were business owners that were there to be at a conference and to learn and to like, because it's fucking expensive, man. I mean, the conference itself was like, I think it was like $1,200 or $1,500. And then, you know, I spent probably another $1,500 in airfare, plus it was like $2,000 or something for the freaking hotel room. I mean, it was a lot of money. It's thousands of dollars for this trip. Like, I'm not going down there to party it up. I'm going down there to try to get something out of it.
Tax deductible, right?
Yeah, it's all write off.
Yeah,
it is. I mean, it was for continuing education. It was for business development. So,
Right.
yeah.
I learned a lot. Honestly, I went down there. I've been doing, I think I've talked about in podcasts, kind of trying to figure out where I want to go next step with this business, and whether that is continued growth or trying to shrink down and be more focused, and actually even to the extreme of like a major downsize and just being extremely focused and reducing down the number of clients and like that. But I'll tell you what, I learned a lot, and I came back with a whole new energy. Like, okay, well, no, we're gonna turn this shit up, but we're gonna do it focused.
You're safe, Miss Smith. You can still get your taxes done.
Yeah,
with Jerry.
Yeah, nobody's going anywhere. But I talked to this conference was very payroll heavy. It was really focused on payroll processing.
Mm-hmm.
But it was able to kind of give me a little bit. I was able to talk to other business owners, a couple guys that own payroll processing companies around the country, and then other different types of businesses too. But it kind of gave me an opportunity to kind of reflect and look at my business overall. And it didn't take me long. Like after the first day, I flew down there on Sunday. They had like a little welcome thing, which was super awkward because I was by myself. So like just a random dude like walking up to groups of people.
Told you should have brought me.
I should have brought a wingman, dude, for sure.
Yeah.
Although I don't think we'd have gotten much work done. We probably would have just drank.
We probably would have bought 3 credit card processors, came back $3.5 million in debt, and took 88 Uber rides into town.
Okay.
But
don't get in an Uber with Joe.
The first day, Monday, the first day of the conferences, like that night, I got back to my room that evening and I pulled up my laptop and I started, I made a list of all my monthly clients and all the services we provide and what their monthly fees are, and started breaking it down into categories of like bookkeeping and full blown like accounting, CFO kind of consulting work, payroll, and tax. And I'm working on a plan to become more focused on certain aspects. And what I was trying to do is figure out what categories were making the revenue currently. And
you have a lot of slices of pie, Jerry, so
I do.
Think that would be...
I do. And it sometimes, it all becomes kind of this blended mishmash, right?
100%.
Yeah.
But the problem with that is that we all kind of run around like chickens with our head cut off because we're all just trying to put out fires all the time because there's no structure. But what I was able to do by doing this was look at like, okay, for our bookkeeping clients that all we do is just provide monthly financials, how much are we making there?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's a section of the business that I don't necessarily have to be involved in the day-to-day. I can have my staff handle that. Same thing with payroll. And okay, well, maybe I need to put more staff in that bucket and grow that. And maybe I need to put another staff member in this bucket. And maybe I don't need that many people in this bucket. And trying to reorganize my company to be more efficient,
mm-hmm.
and restructure how I'm invoicing. We're going to be
raising
I'm
prices.
working on it. Not necessarily. Some people are, yeah. But basically restructuring so that we can stay, because it became apparent to me by doing that I have too much on certain people in the business, and it's just there's too much work there. So I need somebody else there. But maybe I don't need that person to do anything here. I can take this person and redirect them here, and try to make it so that it's easier to make sure we're hitting deadlines, providing that service and that product to the customers in a timely manner, so that we can make sure that we're billing timely and making sure we're not leaving money on the table. And
that's what makes those conferences nice, is like you get around people and they also invested time and money to go to this conference. So they're like-minded. You already know you're in a room of like-minded people.
And the best part of it is like, I've gone to all these little like day conferences and stuff here, but the people that go to these conferences in Pittsburgh are my competitors.
Yeah.
I go to Texas and I'm dealing with a guy that has a payroll company in Tulsa, Oklahoma that doesn't give a shit about me.
Talking freely.
He's going to talk freely. We're there to help each other. We're using the same software. Hey, what are you doing to do this? Oh, I deal with that too, but here's what we did to get around it. Now all of a sudden we're like-minded, but we're not out for each other's throat because
unless
we're
you
not
want to
in
buy me a cowboy hat and boots, I'll go out to Oklahoma and sell motherfucker sell.
He was a good dude. He was a good dude. I hopefully he sees the podcast. I liked him. He was a good dude, and his payroll company is much larger than my payroll division. But he was part of the reason I was like, you know what, I think I need to turn that part of it up, because it's somewhere that I can rely on staff. It's not going to necessarily tie me more to a desk. And it's good, just consistent income. One of the things that early in my career that was hard to break, and I'm finally at the point where it's broken, is that the majority of our revenue came from tax season. So February to April, we got all this money in, and then we had to try to make that last until the next February, which was tough. So by November, December, it was like, oh my God, how the hell are we going to get to February? Where we're through that. Our monthly bills, our monthly accounts are far exceed our tax revenue. But the nice thing about payroll is that it's not even monthly. I mean, we have clients every week we're billing, bang, every week. Every 2 weeks, so it's way more consistent revenue, and it's automatically billed, so they're not waiting for me to send out an invoice. So it's just a section. It kind of shined light on areas that I want to expand. It also shined lights on areas that I want to retract. And but no, I came back with a whole new, fresh look at things, and
it's good to get perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're gonna be making some changes.
If you don't grow, you die, right?
Yeah,
Right.
so we're gonna make some changes, and we're gonna lean hard on payroll. We're gonna lean hard on bookkeeping, and we're gonna lean hard on credit card processing, because those are things that I don't have to be in the weeds for.
You don't have to row the boat.
Yeah.
So.
You see transactions going up
On
just in volume.
credit cards?
Mm.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, my clients that used to have a 70-30 or 80-20 cash to credit card split,
See cash going away.
Yeah, 95
Almost
to 5.
gone. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
I think
it's
a
gone.
lot of it too is like, I was talking to a guy that owns a business, and he was saying about he has employees that maybe he trusts them. They always say, as long as they don't steal as much as you steal from the business, you're good. And he was saying about going all credit cards, and I said, I look at that too as like, it helps me. It gives a real look at your business, because when not every dollar makes it to the bank.
Yeah.
And
What?
Dirty cash.
I'm just being honest,
Are you
it just
serious?
happens. You got to go to Home
Falls
Depot and you
out.
got to get a box of screws and 10 foot of pipe. You're like,
Got a
oh,
little
you know
cash
what? I got a
involved.
little cash. I'd rather just pay cash.
Yeah.
I got in the wrong line at Home Depot. They don't. It's like it always happens. Like,
Yeah.
you can only use credit card here, and I'm like, I was fucking paying cash.
Yeah.
Not trying to discourage that.
Yeah. I'm seeing more and more clients that are going toward credit
Phone?
surcharging.
Yeah.
The one I really
Charging
want to
for credit
surcharge
cards.
is on checks.
You think our kids will use credit cards?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, what do you mean?
100%.
Where are they
I
going?
think there'll be something else.
Nah, I don't
Some type
think
of
so.
Finger scan.
One of the things I have.
It'll still be the same concept. It's going to be, it
Apple
might not
Pay.
be a piece of plastic. It's going to be on your phone or on your watch, or, it's
So-
already moving that way, but it's still going to be the same concept.
You
When we were
process their
moving-
phones too?
Yeah.
we were moving out of our Oakmont house, I found a credit card from Sears from like 1986.
Yeah, the like.
It was like long.
Credit card?
It was a credit card, but it had the raised numbers, and that's the one they.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, cash is on the way, gone.
I can't track it, so yeah.
Yeah, they're trying to make it go away, man.
Yeah.
I don't think our kids will be using cash. They'll be using Bitcoins.
Yeah, I thought about that. My first grader, she's going through, like, they're learning coins, and they have the 50-cent piece, and I'm like, fuck's the last time you saw a 50-cent piece, you know?
Yeah.
When I lost a tooth in 1993.
Fucking Tooth Fairy's got a cachet of them.
Dude, even in my business this year, I have bank accounts at 2 different banks. Just because I was at one bank and then I opened up an account with a bank that I've been doing a lot of lending with, and kind of moved my operating account to the new bank, but I never moved my credit cards there. So my credit card machine still deposits to the old account.
Gotcha.
But credit cards were never really a huge part of my business. So it was always, a little bit extra that, eventually I'd move over, or I'd be like, oh, there's money in that account. Just use that. This year, I'm like, holy shit, all my money's in the other account. Like the account that I'm using to like pay payroll out of, I'm like, oh, there's no money in there.
Yeah.
I had way more people paying with credit cards this year. And then even my, my larger clients, my monthly clients, I'll send them an invoice and they'll pay online with a credit card. And I'm like, well, that's great, but I need it in this account so I can make payroll.
Right.
I always think it's funny, these big companies, they like send you letters with their payments and checks, like these corporates, and they'll say, hey,
send checks.
We could pay you faster if you'll take ACH, but we want a discount.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, send me a fucking check, motherfucker. I want all my money.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
How about I charge you more?
Yeah.
And then discount that.
Yeah. I'll charge you 20% more and you take 10%.
Yeah. Exactly.
Deal.
So,
Exactly.
but
yeah.
No, I think transactions will be changing in our lifetime.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think things are changing now. It's crazy to me. When I started my credit card processing company, the whole surcharging thing was real fresh. And I had a couple people back then that would ask me like, hey, should I, I heard blah, blah, blah is charging 3% or charging 4% for a credit card. And I used to tell people, don't do that. You're just alienating your customers. You're just pissing people off. It's not worth doing. And unless you have a company that, I have a couple companies that their revenue comes mainly from insurance. So like Brian with Unflooded, right?
Yeah.
We talked about it, and I don't even think that he does it. He might. I don't know.
So you get checks from insurance companies?
He does mainly, but one thing that is a drag is that sometimes those insurance companies, they'll send the check to the homeowner, and the check will be made out to Unflooded and the homeowner.
Yeah.
So the homeowner will deposit it and then try to use his American Express to get the points, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then what people don't realize, like, oh, I'm getting points, I'm getting miles, or I'm getting this, but it just
Rico.
costs that business owner
3%.
4%.
3-4%, yeah.
I mean, who's paying for that? It's the business owner.
Yeah.
Not, where do you think that fucking money's coming from?
Right.
I think that a lot of the personal checks that I get, they feel like they're doing me a favor by paying by check because I don't have to pay a credit card fee on that. But then I got to sit there, I got to sign the back of the check. If I mobile deposit, it takes like 2-3 minutes to check, and if I got to go to the bank, I wait in line.
Are you moving your checking account to the new bank?
I will, yeah.
To which bank?
Joe, I worked a
the
long
building
time
or the
on
line of
remote
credit?
deposits.
Line of credit. What's that?
So I worked a long time on making remote deposits happen.
It's great, but it's still my time.
Yeah, well, it's
better
great whenever you have like one check or you have like 2 checks.
No,
but
when you got to sit
when
there,
you've got
like
a stack of checks, it's like I'm not going to sit here and do
There's
this.
got to be a better way.
Yeah, and I'm like, and it's like in the dry cleaning business, it's like $10.
Yeah,
$10, $43. It's like monotonous.
The bank that gave you the line will give you a check scanner you could put on your desk
for a fee
for free.
So
it's the same scanner.
Looking up.
It's the same scanner that they have at the teller, and you just put it in. You open it up on the computer, you put it in, scans it, and it deposits it in the next day.
See,
things are looking up for me already.
Look at that, Joe.
So I'll show you. I have one on my front desk.
Life is good. The other day, not to brag, I had a backlog of checks that I had, because I had a stack of them because I didn't want to do it and I was busy, and then I was like, I might hit the daily max here. We might have to wait till tomorrow to deposit the rest of these checks. We didn't make it. We were close. We were close. It's close. When I sold my house, and I think we talked about this when you sold your property, those big checks you can't deposit. But you kind of don't want to do it.
No, I want to take it to the bank.
Like,
I had to take it to the bank and be like, see that line of credit you let me max out? I told you I was going to pay that off. Yeah. I told you it was going to work.
Yeah. So, well, episode 30 is coming to an end, folks.
30 episodes in, boys.
Yeah. Thanks for listening, everybody out there. As I was pointing to my phone earlier, we got a fan text in.
Oh.
They're excited for last week's episode with Mike and Heather.
Check it out.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about that. I mean, that was a great episode.
There's a lot to take away from them.
Yeah.
The way they pivoted from a pretty big pandemic.
Yeah, there was there's that.
Their website is awesome. They have a great story.
Yeah.
He's very humble beginnings.
I mean, the fact that especially Mike, I mean, he legit hit rock bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And dusted himself off, got his shit together, and he's
nowhere near rock bottom.
No, he's fucking killing it. He's living his dream life. I mean,
I would think so.
Married the girl that he was chasing for who knows how long.
Probably too long.
Got two kids.
Family.
Yep.
It's
thriving
dream
business
is out there.
Yeah.
It's crazy. We all had like an ideal life for ourselves, but I don't think until you meet that person, like I think we're willing to let ourselves down sometimes faster than we're willing to let the person we love down. And I think when he met Heather, he realized that.
Oh, I think she saved him.
Yeah.
I think he'd tell you that.
You know, Sarah was we were talking over the holiday weekend, and she was saying, you know, when I first met you, everybody would be like, oh, good luck.
I'd have told her the same thing.
God bless you. People were saying prayers for her. But if you can get through that first 8 years, you really got something there. You know what I mean?
It was an 8-year prison sentence.
I'm working on 6, Joe. So I still got a couple more.
How many do you have now?
We've been together 10 years now.
10 years.
Crazy.
So I'm married. This September it will be 13 years married.
13.
And we've been together for 21.
Yeah. Humble beginnings. Small apartments. Big ideas, you know?
Yeah.
Rock bottom and back up.
Yeah. I kind of it was weird with Sarah because I kind of lived my 20s in and out of relationships and just as a fireball, you know, and didn't care.
Yeah.
But December 28th, I talked to my mom. I worked for them at the time, and I said, you're going to really like my New Year's resolution this year? She was like, what's that? I said, Mom, I'm going to start dating again. So I went to the Steeler game, got blown out, kicked out of Permanis, met Sarah that night.
Yeah.
And we went on our first date, I think January 2nd.
Oh, 4 days.
It's the only New Year's resolution I've ever kept in my life.
Get that.
10 years later. So, yeah. And I talked to Mike, I knew him a little bit
Decade of
before.
Excellence.
And he could hang. He was a fun time. So,
still a fun time.
I enjoyed that. That was a fun episode, and I enjoyed it. And maybe we'll get a shout out from Pat McAfee.
Yeah. Me and Heather were talking after the episode. What was crazy is my daughter is 5 days younger than their daughter.
Okay.
And my son is 5 days younger than their son.
Oh.
So we were going through it all.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Pretty unique. Those 1-ton vans, bro. Look out.
If you got one available, call Joe.
They're expensive now, bro.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
even without the blowers in them.
The eco-friendly ones now they're electric.
Or diesel.
So.
All right, guys.
All right.
Let's wrap
Thanks,
this
guys.
up. Thanks.
Thank you for listening to Between Two Bridges, a business-to-business podcast. Find and follow us on your preferred podcast streaming platform. Like and subscribe, and leave us a rating and review. You can join us socially on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. Yes, we still call it Twitter. You can email the show at info@betweentwobridgespodcast.com. Until next time, make it till you rake it.